Sasuke wakes from his fight with Itachi and is greeted by the mysterious masked Madara poser, the Trifling Toby himself. This activates Itachi's final trap card, and Amaterasu activated the moment the two make Sharingan contact. Toby was able to avoid getting burned and proceeds to do the exact thing Itachi was desperately trying to avoid from happening, finally telling Sasuke the truth. The horror! Toby tears down the lies that Itachi spent the better part of the last decade constructing for Sasuke. Namely that he wasn't an evil kinslayer, but a sad kid backed into a corner, and he did what he thought he had to do to give Sasuke a chance to live. He also lets him know that Itachi only fought him to bring him to a point where Orochimaru could escape, so that he could seal Orochimaru away. And he had to do it now because, on top of everything else, he was also dying from a terminal illness. He was only clinging to life to make sure he did everything he could to protect Sasuke. This is more than a bit difficult for Sasuke to come to terms with, as everything he had believed his entire life had been a lie. He only learns that the brother he hated and had sworn to kill had been on his side the entire time, moments after watching him die. Luckily, unless your name is Neji or Jiraiya, death isn't quite so permanent, and he is brought back by Kabuto in the billiards room with Edo Tensei. When Itachi is first brought back, he is given the task of being the noble steed to the similarly undead Nagato, as Nagato is still very frail and unable to move on his own. They don't seem to mind, and the two real talk and finally get to know each other after years of working together. The two then stumble across Naruto and Killer Bee, and like a kid with action figures, Kabuto makes them fight. It begins as a 2-on-2, but Itachi is instead freed when Naruto horks up that Chekhov's crow that Itachi had rammed down his throat in their previous meeting. This special bird possessed Shisui's eye, which had been gifted to Itachi right before Shisui took a swan dive into the afterlife, and with it, he could use Koto Amatsukami. This is a powerful and subtle genjutsu which takes over its target's mind, but makes them think that they're acting of their own volition. In this case, it was set up to activate when Naruto came into contact with Itachi's eyes, presumably with Sasuke by then, and compel him to protect Konoha above all else. He intended to use this to rob Sasuke of his free will and agency yet again, but this will have to do. It's so powerful that it completely overrides Kabuto's control of Itachi, and now he's with the good guys. For those who are not Shisui, the technique Koto Amatsukami can only be activated once every 10 years. And Itachi has to destroy Shisui's eye to ensure that no one can access such a dangerous and easily abused ability. Unfortunately, in this moment, Nagato simultaneously receives a power-up, and Itachi has to team up with Naruto and Bee to stop him. Thankfully, the three of them are enough to take down Nagato, and after sealing him away with a sword of Totsuka, Itachi takes off to take out Kabuto, leaving Sasuke to Naruto. Good plan, Itachi. You've done enough to him already. Fate is a cruel mistress, though, and while in pursuit of Kabuto, Itachi runs into Sasuke. Despite doing everything he could to turn him into an unfeeling agent of hate and vengeance, learning the truth has made Sasuke happy to see him for the first time since he was 5, at least in his own way. As always, though, Itachi is being difficult. He now realizes he did everything wrong from the start and doesn't feel worthy to be part of Sasuke's life. But that's not his decision to make, and despite doing everything he can to avoid him, Sasuke will not stop being an annoying little pest and following. Come on, Itachi, he just wants some real talk with his big bro. Eventually, Itachi relents. While confronting Kabuto, Sasuke nearly ends things, but Itachi stops him, revealing that in order to stop this zombie party monster mash, Kabuto needs to remain alive. Sasuke agrees to help under the condition that Itachi finally stop avoiding him and actually talk to him afterwards, and Itachi agrees. So after many years of completely unnecessary drama, the two brothers finally team up on the same side. This is unfortunate for Kabuto because despite being at odds for so long, the two cooperate pretty well and actually keep up with him. Even with Kabuto's impressive number of gross enhancements and numerous loopholes that make him slipperier than Orochimaru ever was. Even with the opportunity to kill him presenting itself, Itachi insists that he must be kept alive. Sasuke gets frustrated at this, and at this point, who could blame him? Because who doesn't want to cave sneaky snaky Kabuto's face in? Itachi begs him to stop because if he is killed while Edo Tensei is active, it will remain active forever, and everyone, including Itachi, will remain as immortal zombies forever as well. He was able to come up with a way around this pesky limitation, though. He just needs Sasuke to wait a little longer because he has a plan. As I mentioned in part 3, going over Itachi's abilities, he uses Izanami, and this is where the deed is done. Essentially, Itachi recognizes that Kabuto, like him, has buried his true self deep down and instead cloaked himself in this persona of who he wants the world to perceive him as. For Itachi, it was an evil kinslaying monster who would destroy his own clan for the sake of testing his power. For Kabuto, it's that he wants to be the type of person that surpassed his master Orochimaru and become one of the greatest, most powerful ninja ever. And he's done so many things to his own body to achieve that goal that it only helps further push him away from who he is at his core. As a reminder, Izanami was created as a counter for Izanagi, which similarly is something that Uchiha clan members historically used to further escape reality. Itachi baits Kabuto into performing certain physical actions during the fight that he can then record as point A and point B for the purposes of casting Izanami. Izanami then traps Kabuto in an endless loop where, as he continues to assert himself as beyond Orochimaru and beyond the other members of Team Taka or Hebi, depending on who you ask, that he's incorporated their DNA into his body to further augment his abilities, he continually reinforces this identity crisis that he has. And it works like a charm. Itachi has successfully put Kabuto in this time loop, and he explains to Sasuke that the out is that Kabuto realizes that he's been putting on this persona and to accept himself for who he really is instead of who he wants people to think he is. Sasuke's not a huge fan of giving Kabuto a way out of this technique, but Itachi insists that Kabuto is like him, and he wants to give Kabuto the chance to figure this out before he dies instead of in an immortal zombie state like he was. And with Kabuto unable to stop him, Itachi begins to release the Edo Tensei. As Itachi begins to fade away, he finally does the right thing and openly treats him with love and respect. Even though Sasuke insists that no matter what Itachi says, he is committed to destroying Konoha for everything it did to him, to them, Itachi only smiles and says he will love and support him no matter what, and leaves him free to make his own choices, probably for the first time in his life. And that, at long last, is the end of Itachi's story.